When you hear Johnny Depp say the words, "When I look at you, my forever begins," you can't help but pause. There's something almost haunting about it. It doesn't sound like a line from a movie or a lyric from a song. It feels like something much deeper, something that comes from a man who has lived through storms and still chooses to believe in the light. Think about it for a second. This is Johnny Depp. A man whose name has been on billboards, courtrooms, magazine covers, and the lips of millions of people around the world. A man who has tasted incredible highs and devastating lows. A man who has carried both the charm of his characters and the weight of his mistakes. And yet, after all that, he says, "My forever begins." It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What does forever mean to someone who has seen so much? What does it mean to someone who has loved, lost, and tried again? For Johnny, those words aren't just romance. They are survival. They are hope. They are a reminder that even when the world feels like it's burning around you, there can still be a place, or a person, that feels like home. Johnny has never been the kind of person to throw around big phrases carelessly. Every time he speaks, there's a weight to his words. You can almost hear the echoes of his past behind them. You can hear the pain of heartbreaks, the joy of love, the regret of choices, and the relief of second chances. And that's why this simple line carries so much meaning. For someone else, it might just be a sweet phrase. For Johnny, it feels like a lifetime of lessons condensed into a moment. Now think about his life. The relationships that have defined him. The ups and downs that the entire world has witnessed. His early years, full of fiery romances, wild choices, and whirlwind emotions. His famous love with Winona Ryder, the tattoos, the declarations, the way he seemed ready to give everything. And then later, his long relationship with Vanessa Paradis, the mother of his children, where he seemed to have found some stability, a family, a softer side of himself. And then, of course, the public heartbreaks, the messy endings, the court battles, the loneliness that followed. When you put all of that into perspective, the idea of forever almost feels fragile. And yet he chooses it. He still chooses to say, "When I look at you, my forever begins." It tells us something about him. That despite the chaos, he hasn't lost the part of himself that believes in love. That even after trust was broken and his private life was turned into a spectacle for the world, he hasn't locked his heart away. If anything, these words show us that he is still willing to risk it all again, to open himself to the possibility of something lasting, something true. And maybe that's the most relatable part of his story. Because let's be honest, we've all been there in some way. Maybe not with the whole world watching, but in our own lives. We've been hurt. We've been let down. We've told ourselves, never again. And yet, deep down, there's still that part of us that hopes. That part of us that wants to believe in forever. That part of us that, when we meet the right person, feels like time starts fresh. That's what makes Johnny's words so powerful. They don't just reflect his story. They reflect ours. They remind us that no matter how many times we've fallen, no matter how much we've been bruised, it's never too late to start again. Never too late to believe in forever. Never too late to look at someone and feel that everything behind you doesn't matter anymore, because everything ahead feels like a new beginning. Experts often say that real love isn't about fireworks or dramatic gestures. It's about presence. It's about safety. It's about those quiet, ordinary moments that make you feel grounded. And maybe that's what Johnny means when he talks about forever. Maybe it's not about the grand gestures or the big headlines. Maybe it's about something simple, something steady. Maybe it's about sitting with someone in silence and knowing that silence feels complete. And that's the thing. Forever doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be a fairy tale. It doesn't even have to erase the past. It just has to be chosen. Day after day. Through good moments and bad. Through storms and sunshine. Forever isn't a guarantee. It's a decision. And when Johnny says it, it feels like he's saying, despite everything, I'm still choosing. I'm still willing to believe. Now, let's be real. Most of us, when we talk about forever, we mean finishing that pizza without sharing a slice, or binge-watching a show until 3 in the morning without falling asleep. Our versions of forever can feel small, even silly. But Johnny's version feels bigger. It feels deeper. And maybe that's exactly what we need to hear sometimes. That forever doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be broken by the past. It can start right now, in the smallest of moments, in the simplest of glances. Imagine this. You're sitting across from someone. Maybe it's someone new. Maybe it's someone you've known forever. And you catch their eye. And in that split second, everything else fades away. Your mistakes, your fears, your regrets, they don't matter anymore. Because in that look, you feel safe. You feel seen. You feel like the rest of your life could start right here. That's forever. That's what Johnny's words capture. And that's why they stick. When you think about it, those words are less about Hollywood romance and more about human truth. Because at the end of the day, that's what we all want, isn't it? To be seen. To be understood. To be loved, not for the perfect parts of us, but for all of us, the scars, the flaws, the baggage, everything. And to know that even with all of that, someone still looks at us and says, my forever begins. So here's the question for you. What does forever mean in your life? Is it tied to a person? Maybe it's your partner, your kids, your parents, or your best friend. Or maybe forever is about something else. Maybe it's a dream you refuse to give up on. Maybe it's a passion that drives you, something that makes you feel alive. Whatever it is, Johnny's words remind us that forever is always possible. It's always waiting. It's always just one moment away. And maybe that's the point. Forever doesn't start years from now. It doesn't start once you've figured everything out. It starts in the present. In the glance. In the choice. In the courage to believe again. That's what Johnny teaches us with those words. That no matter what the past looks like, forever can always begin today. Now, I'll leave you with this thought. The next time you find yourself doubting love, doubting trust, or doubting your own strength, remember Johnny's words. Remember that if someone who has been through as much as he has can still say, when I look at you, my forever begins, then maybe you can too. Maybe your forever is closer than you think. Maybe all it takes is opening your heart just enough to let it in. And who knows? Maybe when you least expect it, you'll find yourself looking at someone, or something, that makes you realize your forever has already started.